Well, here I am. I am apparently live. It is the after show. Welcome to the Q&A. If you're new here, please subscribe. I've set it so that you have to be a subscriber for 1 minute before you can leave a comment, just because it cuts down on the trolls. And hello to everyone joining from Brighter. Welcome. Yeah, it cuts down on the trolls. And I'm trying to, this is my business. This is what I do for a living. And this live stream is difficult. It is challenging. It is a lot of work. It is a lot of logistics, and it's not a lot of reward. So I'm trying to make it work any way I can. Welcome, one and all. More on EVs. Thank you for being the voice of reason on FSD and going with the exact opposite title as Herbert. Hey, man, got to be a little contrarian sometimes. Definitely not solved, but watching the curve as it asymptotically approaches completion is captivating. I'll be interested on how many cars one remote supervisor can handle over time. Absolutely. And that's the beauty, is if it's 3-1 and then tomorrow we can make it 4-1, just increase it by that. That means you can increase the entire fleet by a third. Gets exciting. I quit using FSD. The phantom stops and high-speed cornering were too unnerving. What version are you on? I have not had that on 14.2 or 14.2.1. And I didn't have it on any of the 13s. And I didn't have a version of 14 prior to 14.2. So I can't speak to that. Welcome, everybody. Yes, so this is where the early lunchers are. Yeah, lunch. I enjoyed Thanksgiving so much. We made extra leftovers after Thanksgiving. We are still getting through those. Because, comfort food. I'm curious as to how many robotaxis Optimus can remote supervise. That's hilarious, Kevin. I love it. Kevin shared with me a link to a video on MSN that said, you don't have it up right now, that said, observers, people like us, are noticing patches of road where nag is noticeably diminished. That maybe it is working out that way, where the nag is just less persistent in places where the car is more confident. It was a subjective analysis. So when I shared it with Herbert, he thought, let's stick to objective. And then we chatted subjective for an hour. What are you going to do? Let's see here. I would use FSD version 12 all the time if I could. Just have it turn when I tell it without having to intervene. Yeah. Yesterday, it wanted to go the wrong way down a one-way alley for me. And while I'm sure it wouldn't have been dangerous, I still said, don't. And it was a very short stretch of it that was one way. If I'd have gotten, another 200-300 feet, it becomes bi-directional once again. So I'm not sure, but let's see. Howdy to Digital Blade. Howdy to David and Moron EVs and everybody in the chat. Oh my gosh, what is this that has just shown up? Optimus Soccer, says Crunch to Grace Hopper. Thank you so much for the support. That means a lot to me. Makes it possible. Now that Optimus can run, surely it can kick. At least something as lightweight as a soccer ball. That would be fun to see. If sharing data speeds up for FSD for all of humanity, then isn't the right thing to do to share the data? Better hope Elon doesn't do the right thing. The right thing in this case, bad for shareholders, good for humanity. I don't know how valuable sharing the data is, because you have to, I don't know how much of the data was retained. How much of that data is retained? What does the data even look like? It's all proprietary. It's certainly not just, zettabytes of raw driving footage, which is what each manufacturer would like to have. It would be compressed, crunched, distilled. So I'm not sure. Until FSD is defined, there can be no solved or not solved. Fair. Totally fair. It's already solved for supervised, but not safe enough for unsupervised. It's already approved for supervised, and that's what saves lives. I tell you, if it was half the price, would adoption more than double? I hope so. But the reality is 50% of people who got a free trial never once activated it. So that's frustrating and discouraging. Hey, I'll mention I am going to Northern California. I had an opportunity. I was told by a very high-ranking Tesla employee that, hey, just get down here. I'll get you in to see the factories. So I said, I'm coming down. I'm going to be there. I'd like to see Lathrop, Fremont, Nevada. And that's not possible. They're not going to be able to get me in. There's still an outside chance for Nevada, but it's an outside chance. Meanwhile, Lucid has invited me to see their operation. So I'm going to be driving a Gravity. I'm going to be checking out. Tesla, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? I love the anti-title against Herbert's. Yours is much more realistic. Yeah, well, his got 10 times the views. So I'm doing my best here, but well, if you made a better show, it's the same show. Same show. I do consider myself right to, within reason, risk my life to be part of my freedom. If you go too far, skydiving and scuba diving would be illegal. To me, FSD is more about protecting other people on the road more than the occupant of the vehicle or occupants of the vehicle. That's why things like emergency auto braking are important. And there is a balance there. And again, I don't think human driving will ever be illegal in the US, certainly not in any of our lifetimes. But yeah. And at some point, you have to be responsible for yourself. But there is a balancing act. I don't think FSD should be mandatory. I think it should be, the argument I'm making is that it should be available, is that it should not be illegal. Odd stats as Waymo is speed limited, likely 90% under 35. I would argue it's much higher than that. I would argue it's probably 99%. When you see a Waymo on a highway, people record it because, hey, never seen that before. But injury of any kind, still very low. Rates, and most accidents don't happen on the highway. Most happen on surface streets. But more data and better data is needed to make an actual assessment, I would argue. Oh, we are still in this past show. Let's jump back to the current show, see what we got going on here. Say hello to everybody. Who we got, who is in here. Do you know any differences in FSD on cars with versus without the bumper cam? And I don't. We have two vehicles in the household. Both of them are on 14.2.1. Neither of them have the bumper cam. So I do not know. I have not been able to subjectively determine a difference. And I haven't heard people talking about a difference. I think the real difference is less likely to rub a curb, get closer to a curb without hitting it, I guess. Not sure. And both of ours lack the front camera. And David says he would love the bumper camera to have a bumper camera with 180-degree field of view. Me too. Can we get Mothers Against Drunk Driving on board? Best advertising for autonomy ever. Yeah, maybe. I wonder. I don't know. I don't know much about them or how they operate. So I don't know. Are we live yet? We are now. How about that? Is this stream on autopilot or FSD? It's on full meat, Brian. So I don't know. What do you think the robot will be? The robotaxi will be for small cities like Toledo? Well, I think it'll be, primarily cybercab with a smattering of S, X, 3, and Y. I think that I'm of the opinion that smaller cities will be the last to get it, and the smaller your city, the later it is that Tesla would be interested. And I'm of the belief that my city is sufficiently small that Tesla would never come here, which is why they would permit people like me to choose to run my own little fleet here, because I don't mind if the car is idle, 70-80% of the day, the fare would still more than cover the cost of the car. It'd still be a small money generator. That's good enough for me. Where Tesla would be seeking to maximize the dollars, maximize the miles. They would want to be in places where that can happen. Let's see. There's more than one Toledo. It's surprising. Sometimes you look up your own city to find out. I lived in Auburn, Washington. There's like 20 Auburns in the U.S. So it's really the Springfield of places I've lived. One on the Michigan border, and that's where I'm at. My condo's in Ohio. My car is parked in Michigan. Oh, so it's the same Toledo. It just spans the border like Kansas City. Happy December, one and all. Happy December. FSD in NYC has been fantastic. NYC is a boss battle. It is a final level. If you can run in a place like that, there's no place in the U.S. you cannot operate. The only more difficult city in the Western Hemisphere, I would argue, would be Mexico City, maybe Rio. I'm not familiar with Rio's traffic. How many nines to be solved? We don't know. We don't know. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. We need every vote we can get. Let's get that 100,000. I'd really like, there's a switch that flips when you get to 100,000 subscribers. It gets much easier. And at the rate I'm going, I will never get there. I will die of old age before it happens. Or probably more likely from a full meat driver. Yeah, that's actually more likely. I don't know if I would, if the channel would survive long enough to hit 100,000. So when is it solved? What needs to happen? Very, very little. I don't know. It's hard to quantify. The question I ask is, would you go to sleep in the back seat while it drives you somewhere? And my answer today is no. Today I would not. But I can see it. It's on the horizon. It's close. Be like a Chicago voter. Vote early, vote often. Keep hitting that thumbs up button. I know people make fun of Chicago. I've not looked for nor seen evidence that that's a thing that still happens, but it's still a good joke. Click that like, says Beach Crow. Please do. For me, I had to use FSD for a couple of weeks before I was comfortable with it. Being able to predict what the car will do helps. It's more about comfort. Really, it is. The people I talk to who have a lot of disengagements, it's not for safety. It's for comfort. It's for driving style. It's the same way adults, parents like to criticize their kids driving, even if their kid's 25 and has logged 100,000 miles already. They're still like, boy, I don't know. You're following kind of close. Well, you sure you want to be in this lane? That's normal. If you've ever driven with someone else who has a different driving style, you are second guessing. You are following the drive in shadow mode. And that's, people have one guy said, well, it doesn't matter. If it's not driving the way I want, it's not good enough. Your benchmark is, can it read your mind? I disagree with that. I don't think that is the benchmark. Grok integration will solve most issues. Yes, perhaps. We don't know. That's too far out. And it's not here today, so I can't really assess it. Nag is higher in Wyoming, where there is no cell connection. By the way, good to see you, Wiper Blades USA. Friend of the channel, came to see me in the play last January, February. When was that? That was a lot of fun. I'm glad I got to meet you. Hated driving in Boston, but I love driving in Manhattan. It was like playing a video game. It really was. It was so fun. Had the daughter with me. Convertible Midwest plates. They need to stay away. Really hope the FSD looping gets fixed soon. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Better to let them believe it is solved to advance the cause. Legislature will take time, and by then FSD will be ready. Yeah. When something is hard to do, like in your life or in a relationship, you say it would take an act of Congress, because that is the gold standard for things that are difficult. It'll take a little time. And we know because FSD works, and yet we still face obstacles. Optimus can run now. Yeah. I prefer FSD when driving in unfamiliar cities. I find that FSD drives like a local everywhere. And I love it when I'm out of town and I don't know where I am because it knows where I am. You get up to a funky intersection, there's like 8 lanes going 9 directions. Don't ask, the math doesn't work. But it knows which lane is the correct one. And I look at it and I second guess it, but I don't grab on. And sure enough, this is the correct. Okay, we're going the right way. Good. Because I've been stuck in places before, like Vegas, where I could not find the correct lane to be in to get where I was going. And I was losing my mind. Okay. Do you think the potential of Optimus to be used for the military? Yes, of course. Just like drones, just like any new technology, everything that exists has military applications, but this more than others. It would be great to see a land battle that just is escalating bot after bot and at a stalemate, because that's what it would kind of be. I asked this as you were going on break. I don't know if registered, but could Elon elect 82B and sell shares under the radar this week, sneaking through the stronger volume days? Yeah. Yes. And we've seen Tesla do that. In 22, they did a $5 billion cash raise by selling additional shares, and then another $5 billion cash raise. And they managed to do it on the open market in I want to say a single day each. And all it appeared to be was high volume. So yes, there's a bunch of ways you could skin that cat. The important part is that you skin the cat. That didn't come out right. Seems like there are huge military applications for Optimus. Yeah. Let's see. You should talk. Nobody. Or should nobody talk about it? Maybe. I mean, I feel like we have to. I feel like it is incumbent upon us as those in the know to talk about it because it is safety. There is no usable data for Tesla to share. Yeah. Our late Model Y 2324 hardware fork getting FSD 14. Yes. Our Model Y is an October 23 build out of Fremont. It has 14.2.1. It got the free trial. What if FSD was free and on by default and there would be a paid opt-out option? Ugh. I think consumers would despise that. I think that would be a very bad business decision. And if it's not the case, they should bounced. Dang it. Yeah. Okay, there we go. And if it's the case, they should restructure it. So that's I don't think the mission is geared toward military application. Bots need to do much modification for rugged and remote operations. Yeah, but you could modify them. If you're going out to California, or Bert and Kelly going to join me? Nope. It's just a quick drive down. Bert and Kelly not going. It's not an event. I mean, I am going to a toy drive in Palo Alto on the 13th with the Tesla owners of Silicon Valley. And I'll be checking out Lucid for quite a bit of the time there. Oh, lost my mouse. They will need nearby access to charging stations and are meant to be sensitive, gentle enough to be around people, kids, and pets versus being harbingers of destruction. We can hope. Yeah. My students used to know who MAD was, but now they don't. Not sure what changed there. Don't know much about the organ. I'm familiar with them, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. I don't really follow them, so I don't really know anything about it. I think their big thing was that they wanted laws to be put in place, and laws have been put in place. So maybe the bulk of their job is done. I'm not sure. I don't think Nick's point about no one liking to drive is really valid. Most people, sure, but car enthusiasts will likely never give up their passion of driving manually. Sometimes, even people, my brother's an example. He loves to drive, but he doesn't love commuting. A lot of the drive, I'm sure he would rather not do. Bumper to bumper in the rain, forget it. Uh, I I don't know if I've ever known anyone who's certainly they've never told me I enjoy driving in rush hour traffic. I don't I don't I don't think that's a thing. I have a hard time following audio and text chats simultaneously, especially temporarily unsynced. Yeah. I hate driving and just being in cars in general. Fair. Sure, but car enthusiasts have times and places where driving is a chore. Agreed. Uh-huh. Okay. Oh, right. Uh, Mothers Against Drunk Driving plus Tesla awareness campaign would make sense, right? I don't know. I don't know if there's anything political about them that would make it the partnership less ideal. So maybe. Oh, how are you guys doing, by the way? Full meat driver, death by a bacon driver. Everybody have a good Thanksgiving. I had my Friendsgiving. I don't see anyone in the chat who was there, but I know some will be later on the rewatch. Let's see. Should I use my 8,000 to buy Tesla stock instead of FSD and subscribe? That's tough. I know a company in Australia that bought a small fleet, 6 to 10, maybe 12 Teslas to rent out. And they had a meeting to decide, are we going to buy FSD and hope that it comes here soon enough? Or should we just agree to all take an equal amount of money and put it in the stock? This was in like 2018, 2019. And they put it in the stock and they were very pleased with that decision. I don't expect another 20x. That's an awfully large valuation. If it happens, I'll be sitting pretty, I suppose. Not financial advice, but sounds like a good strategy. I don't know. I will not offer that. For FSD to be autonomous, the entire US needs to solve map and navigation problem. Map and navigation problem is new to 14.2. It worked great on version 13. So I don't think that's the problem. And recently, Kyle Connor decided to do some testing out on the test track where his studio is located. And only Tesla would activate self-driving on this unmapped road. It's not mapped, it's a track. And all the other cars they tried to test would not activate. If something's hard to do, it's not worth doing. Homer Simpson. Love it. Love it. Homer Simpson, the voice of a generation. Don't think T-Mobile SAT is enough. Need Starlink. For Robotaxi, I agree. You might need to get some rich video out of the car quickly. I don't think the direct to cell connection would be adequate if you're in an area that doesn't have proper cell coverage. I agree. But that doesn't mean you couldn't just buy a module that goes in the back window that would do the job, or maybe under the glass. I don't know. Do you have solar and or battery to help your cars? I do not. Battery is cost prohibitive for me and solar is ineffective. There are large trees over the house that we are not permitted to touch. They are the city's pride and joy. We are in shadow, and we're also in the Northwest, which is already a headwind because hydro is so cheap here and solar is less effective. And as a result, the payoff would be something like 15 to 20 years if you had good sky exposure, which we do not. So I do not have solar. You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. Just enough. FSD is just stunning Europeans, while it can be tested in Germany, France, and Italy, similar to the Robotaxi service in California. It's very cool. Can't believe Brian went all Terminator on us. I would argue it was the T800 and the T1000 that went all Terminator. Let's see. Very fun watching Euro test drives, blowing people's minds. Is FSD coming to Scotland? Don't know. Regulators and safety professionals look at data in terms of fatal crashes per 100 million miles traveled and injury crashes per million miles traveled. All right. Interesting. Um, FSD does a lot of good things, but it's not solved unless it can do 50-ish miles per hour on our local 50-ish main road instead of thinking the limit is 30 and doing 34. Frustrating. Frustrating. I understand your pain. I feel you. I don't have areas where the speed limit is totally misunderstood, but I get it. All right. All right. We still got a few minutes. If you got last minute questions, get them in. I got the mad question. Other organizations overshadow them. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Times change, leadership changes, or, well, you can't be number one forever, I guess, especially in a volunteer organization. I think, are they volunteer? I don't know. Do you plan on going back to Mexico in the next year or two? I mean, maybe. Um, maybe. I have a friend who loves Latin American countries. He's been practicing his Spanish. He loves speaking Spanish. And he wants me to go to Colombia because he's got a list of countries. He's like, pick one. If you're willing to go, I'll go with you. And Colombia now has Tesla. So that's something I would love to consider. It's just kind of expensive, travel. And I don't have any ground support in Colombia. So I don't know if that's something I could even do. And the other thing on that is that Mexico is much cheaper. Monterrey is very affordable, both the airfare and the accommodations, very affordable. I just don't have a reason to go. There's no reason to go. So Kevin says, I can't hear you and that I am now back. Interesting. Maybe the problem was on my end. People used to love driving stick. Now nearly all cars are automatic. I still love driving stick. If someone said, hey, we're going to do this autocross track, pick a car, I'd pick a stick shift Miata. Oh, that'd be a blast. But I wouldn't pick one for my daily commuter. What about your crash video? The car gives off a lot of flames for a 12 volt. Okay. It's weird, right? We're talking about the fatal crash in Tacoma, Washington in 2023. That front flame, it doesn't look like a low voltage battery, and it definitely isn't the high voltage battery because the high voltage battery is clearly intact in post crash pictures. What was in the front? Did you have a gas can for your lawnmower? I feel like we have insufficient information. Let's see. It would be interesting to put Optimus on the next Starship. Far enough outside Austin to miss out on solar credits, have a co-op electric bill, and they don't offer cheap overnight. Can't get Tesla electricity, and Robotaxi will not come out here. Oh, come on. That's too many things. That's too many. Unfair, deeply unfair. I suggest you file a grievance with the gods. Be ready for a China-led Optimus retrieval mission. Oh, if you launch it into space, that'd be hilarious. My Model X, oh, here we go, refuses to take me home. This is exasperating. Because it fears the gate on my community goes to, it fears the community gate, so it goes to the next neighborhood and just picks a driveway. You live here now, my friend. You live here now. Even though, and then later you'd said, even though you dropped a pin right on your driveway, what I did to fix it is in Google Maps, I moved the pin to my front yard. I moved it closer to the curb, and that fixed it. So I don't know. If you're going to go to Mexico, let me know beforehand so I can coordinate calls. Let's see. Okay. You were there. Okay. Okay. Now I know who you are. Okay. It was lovely having you both here. Yeah, thank you for that wonderful Trader Joe's bread. It's delicious. Let's see. I used to love driving. I still do, but I used to too. Yeah. I used to steal Mitch Hedberg jokes. And then I just leave it there because if you get the joke, then you can finish it. Yeah. Yeah. Don't forget to thumbs up. Yeah, we're at 29 minutes and change. That's as good a time as any to wind it down. You guys, what did I miss? What did I misunderstand? If you're catching it on the replay, let me know in the comments. And everybody else, stay tuned, stay juicy, and I kind of wait to hear from you, clever robots. Perhaps the week of the 12th-ish through the 18th-ish, somewhere between Oregon and Northern California, where I intend to be. All right. Talk to you later.